to you about logistics in the global world and today's global trade. When I watched the workshop before, I recognized how my personal career, how my profession fits to this. I'm in charge I'm a vice president for sales for Southeast Europe with the Division organization, situated in Vienna, in the headquarters for Southeast Europe. I'm also in charge for Magna International globally, so on the one job as a vice president for sales, I deal with 15 different countries, means 15 different cultures, means 15 different kind of working. And when I look at my second job, as I said, as a key accountant for Magna International, I'm globally on my way. Means I'm visit from India to China to North America, Canada, USA, regular this country, so I have to deal with a lot of individual and culture stuff. I only can recommend to every one of you, mainly for the students, please never stop to learn. And to say something to the speech before, I don't think, from my personal experience, I don't think that you can educate future managers. Because to be a manager means that you have to have a great personality, you have to lead a company, which means you work with people each and every day. And of course it's necessary to know the tools of economic and finance, but you also have to know the people you work with. You should never forget that. We live in a world where you can, via internet and email, exchange information every day. The best thing to make business is to meet each other, to know your business colleagues, to know your partners, and to work with them. So let's go to my logistics issue. Logistics is more or less a successful story for enterprises, for companies, but also a success story for countries, or regions, or continents. I will go a little bit into the logistics facts. After that, I will show a little bit of a country's overview as a real invitation to talk about, especially for Sudan. Angola has been changed in the meanwhile, Azerbaijan, Bangladesh, and Serbia. How to deal with that and how the infrastructure. There was a speech yesterday at the very beginning where they talked about how necessary is infrastructure for the growing economy. But I see my profession, or our profession as logistics providers, we are the missing link between infrastructure and economy. Everything you have, everything you wear on your body, and everything you sit down, or everything you have every day, has been moved by a logistics company in any kind of way. So there is nothing in this room which we haven't touched. And during I'm as well a lecturer on the University of Supply Science here in Salzburg for supply chain management, but also in the University of Applied Science in Graz for logistics and distribution. I say logistics is in the meanwhile the second biggest market in Germany, with a turnover of 730 billion euro, which is handled per year in logistics. What does logistics mean? For most of you, logistics means transportation. For most of you, you either get some goods in a grocery or in a shop or not. But logistics is more. Logistics is the handling of goods to be at the right time, in the right quantity, at the right place. This is more or less what we understand about logistics, and logistics is nothing new. Logistics is more than a couple of thousand years old. So we haven't found anything new today when we say globalization. Globalization has been already there. Not with that knowledge we have, and not with the distribution of informations. Yeah. But we now know that Africa has already dealt with China long before the Europeans came to Africa. So there was already trade and globalization over there. I use use always Ike Eisenhower, who said, "You will not find it difficult to prove that battle campaigns and even wars have been won or lost primarily because of logistics." And if you mirror that to the economy, then you can see if a company, a country, or a region has the skills to provide logistics in the right way, they will win. If a company fails in logistics, they will lose on the global market. The world is growing together, and logistics can make or break a business. I have a lot of experience in companies who go somewhere either to supply to North America or to source from China or whatever. If they forget to look at the logistics costs, you can have the best product in the world, but you will lose if you do not cover or if you do not calculate your logistics costs. The express market means this is a market where some goods has been delivered to a certain time, maybe next day, is about 38 billion euro per year, which is normally not calculated in the figures of your goods. If you look at the automotive industry, I work since 10 years for the automotive industry. If you stop a plant because the truck is delayed or a ship is delayed, if you stop a plant, it costs you about 2,000 euro a minute. So stop a car production for 1 or 2 days means it costs you huge money. So you have to fly in, you have to bring it from somewhere else. Logistics was in the past associated with military. The name logistics came from logis came from the Roman Empire. But today logistics is one important function in business. No market, manufacturing, or project execution can be succeeded without logistics support. So, and if you break down logistics in 4 different sites, you have the purchase inbound logistics. Everything you purchase has to be brought from somewhere to your production, to your sales. Then you have the production logistics, which is inside factories, inside of plants. The distribution logistics means you go out to your customer, to the final customer or to the next customer, in whichever step you stay in the production line. And then you have a huge growing industry, means the logistics for waste. Due to the environmental thinking we have now, we think about how to use multiple packaging, to use it more times, or to reduce waste in cartons, plastic, or whatever. This is an extremely growing market. And new information technologies. I came from 38 years in logistics, and when I started we had a telex machine, maybe some of you know it already. Then there came the fax machines, which was on a very short time level. And now we exchange our information via internet. We can see within a minute our need. Maybe my telephone. And this brings us into the position that also the life cycle of goods are changing very shortly. If you buy a cell phone, at the moment you buy it, it's an old one. So that means the logistics behind to provide the right amount of new cell phones within the necessary time, either you fail or you win. As an example, the bicycle market. The bicycle supply has already started now for next spring and summer. Every bicycle from Far East you have it in your warehouse at February, March, you will lose customers because the customers don't want to have it by Easter. This is more or less the time. Or think about Christmas. The Christmas season for us is over because Christmas starts with us in June. And to go back on how it works, you need to know that the purchasers, the buyers of textiles decide now what will come in autumn 2011 in kind of color, in kind of quality, and in kind of style. So they have to order now to get the stuff ready in time within a year. Because of production, the raw material has to be provided, the colors has been provided, the marketing campaign must roll out, and the logistics must work that the goods are really there. If they're not there, you have a problem. Globalization and changing responsibilities. We outsource a lot of work today. We go to so-called low-cost countries to secure money in labor costs, because we have to provide you with, or the industry has to provide you with cheap textiles or with cheaper shoes, as we could produce in Europe. But in Europe we have the technology to design them, to know what the people need. Car industry. The sourcing of a car is now globally. I know supply chains who works from within 24 hours from India to Mexico by using the time zones. They ship by sea, by air freight from India via Frankfurt to Mexico within 24 hours, just to keep the supply chain running. So you see, everything is changing. And when I started my business, as I said 38 years ago, we had borders. We had to go in Europe from country to country via a border. Now it's an open space where you can move from anywhere to everywhere. But also we do not have real borders globally. It's not a problem if you are with a documentary, if you are with your, if you have every formalities in documentary ready. There is no country in the world where you cannot export or where you can't import, but you have to have it ready in advance. As a logistics is a successful story, a success factor, and logistics is more than transportation from A to B. It's a consulting and planning, how to set up my logistics. It's transportation, land, rail, air, sea, which mode or which commodity I use for the transportation. Purchasing, warehousing, and distribution. Inventory management. Logistics provider can take over your inventory management. They can look onto your warehouse, onto your inventory to make them more efficient. Value-added services. Talking about textiles, leather industry, the pricing is already at the business, at the factory somewhere in the world. And companies like where I come from in Grazkasten, they'll just hang it in the shop. IT services, project management. What does it mean, project management? If you have a rebuilding of new factories, the logistics provider can help you with the project management, how to bring the goods through customs, how to organize it in time. I was in charge for the new factory in China, in Shanghai, for AT&S Leung. And I know the factory from the scratch. I know it from the greenfield. I destroyed my shoes because it's raining. It was just greenfield there. There was nothing else as some office containers. But I know it, and I have brought each and everything inside. Not me personally, but I organized it. I worked with a construction company. When do they need what? Packaging technologies. Going away from waste, trying to find new packaging, or try to find the packaging you need for the transport. And providing manpower, kind of warehousing, etc. At the end, implementing proper logistics management can only be beneficial for your company. Sorry. Coming out to countries which are on their agenda. I think, as I said before, infrastructure was issues already yesterday, and I think also infrastructure plus logistics and plus transfer of logistics